Yankees. You wonder why everyone wants to go to play in New York, because that is the center of the world.
I'm going to say Boston. And
you've been to both, right?
I've been to both. I spent more time in New York, and to be honest, I like the city probably more because it's an amazing city. But there are exceptions. If you're Derek Jeter or Joe DiMaggio or Mark Messier in some respect, then that would be a great city. But Boston, no matter who you are, if you are a loyal Boston player, especially for the Red Sox or the Bruins or the Celtics, then that's a whole city that has your back. I mean, it's like bringing your cousins, if you're like an Indian guy from Surrey, to a fight. You know, you are not losing that fight, and you're gonna have people that support you. I think Boston would be a terrific, unbelievable to be a Red Sox.
It's an amazing contrast between two cities that hate each other. You have Boston, who, if you're playing for a Boston city team, they have your back, like you said. If you play for a New York team, they don't always have your back.
Not always. They do if you're Jeter or guys like that.
Exception. You have to be exceptional cases.
Those are
the
exceptions.
media are going to jump on you. The fans are going to jump on you. It's different in Boston. It's like growing up with the neighbor and then him becoming a superstar, and you're always there.
View it this way: the Yankees fans turned on Ruth towards the end of his career. They didn't like him because he got slow. Boston fans, Ruth actually did betray them by going to the. I mean, he was traded, but still. Now, they were bitter about that, but not in the same way did they hate Ruth. So, and isn't it funny how Boston always acts like they are the kind of poor brother to the Yankees, to New York, when they're really not that far behind financially at all? I mean, the Red Sox...
And a lot of people don't know that the Red Sox spent just as much money as the Yankees have in the last few years.
Yeah. So there you go. Our next question, where are we going now? Pro Football Hall of Fame, is that where we're going?
Yeah.
So the Grey Cup wrapped up last weekend, and Anthony Calvillo won his third Grey Cup as quarterback with the Montreal Alouettes. This guy has had a phenomenal career in the CFL. In my opinion, perhaps second best of all time to Doug Flutie, and maybe Warren Moon. Calvillo is unbelievable. Should CFL players be allowed to get in the Pro Football Hall of Fame? And keep in mind, it's a Pro Football Hall of Fame. So we're not the NFL Hall of Fame, but
should they? Yes.
Will they?
Will they? No. And that's it for me. I think if you have the numbers, yes, you should be considered. It's the Pro Football Hall of Fame, like you said. This isn't just the NFL. But do you think that a CFL player is going to reach the same level that an NFL player will? I don't think it's ever going to happen.
No. I mean, Warren Moon was easy because Warren Moon was a great NFL quarterback as well.
Yeah, and same with Doug Flutie. Even though he's not in it, he's still remembered for being just as good as an NFL quarterback.
But if somebody is exceptional, like Flutie, or in my opinion, like Calvillo, then I think, yes, they should be in there. Now, Calvillo will never get in without Flutie getting in. That's, Doug Flutie is the only guy that can break that door down.
I mean, I don't think Calvillo will get in regardless. But I mean, then that opens, we're talking about the Football Hall of Fame, doesn't that open it for college, or are we?
Well,
are we talking about like a college career? Can that be counted? Because if that's the case, then Flutie's college career is going to go down as one of the best ever.
Yeah, I think you have to consider different things, but you got to have a little. I mean, there is still a board that chooses, so they can still, phase it in with certain people. But I think that you should be recognized for what you do. And in the case of Doug Flutie, with his CFL career and even his NFL career from what he played there, just absolutely, he's a phenomenal player. The guy had 7 MVPs in the CFL. He seemed to win a Grey Cup every year that he played.
It's a pity that Jeff Garcia couldn't reach any monumental heights in the NFL, because he, coupled with his CFL career,
has the tools.
Had the tools to do it. Like he went to the Niners right after Steve Young. He had T.O. there. He had the ability. And it's a pity that he couldn't reach the heights, because he could be in this conversation. Okay.
Turning to hockey now, the Montreal Canadiens defenseman PK Subban was benched today, for the second straight game as a healthy scratch. His attitude has been cited as a real problem by other people around the league, and I think that Martin mentioned it. He said that today.
Or Jack Martin.
Jack Martin said it today.
As Don Cherry likes to call him.
Yeah. Is this attitude thing blown out of proportion, or is it a real problem?
You know what? I don't know PK on a personal level, but I want to speak for...
He has a great smile, though.
He's pretty...
It's a beaming smile.
But I do want to speak for how you have young players who are called out, and they either come back with attitude or they take it on the chin. And he took it on the chin. He said to TSN the other day that, if he's not playing well enough, he needs to be benched. And to me, that shows a young guy who's taking it on the chin and taking responsibility. He probably doesn't agree with it. Like, these athletes are competitive. They don't want to be benched at all. But he has to say what he has to say. It's a good PR move, and he's doing the right thing. And I think that it's a great example for a young guy who's not getting playing time that he wants. It was only 8 months ago that PK Subban was shutting down Sidney Crosby, and now look where he is.
Yeah.
He will get back to form. It's just he needs to just say the right things, and that's what he's doing.
I think it's ironic this became an issue because Mike Richards called him out, and I love Mike Richards, or Richie as I call him. I'm a big Flyers fan as well.
Right.
But Richards is, in all regards, a very hard-nosed player that I don't think probably, he probably had the same look against him as well when he first came in.
He's well respected.
A very headstrong, a very gritty player, but just not as...
And that's a good point. If it was Sean Avery to come out and say that, people would have turned their heads. But the fact that it's a well-respected player in the NHL, captain of a team that's come out and said this, then people are saying, oh,
right.
Red light, something's got to be up.
Yeah.
If he's
but I mean, Richie has had his problems too, right? As far as being called a dirty player, I don't think that he is. I think that he's just a hard-nosed player with a lot of talent, and he's a captain. So it does carry some weight. But I think that's the only reason why this has really come up to be an issue recently. So there you go. Number 5 question. Which New Year's event are you more excited for, the World Junior Championship or the NCAA Final? Keep in mind that today, Oregon and Auburn locked up the 1 and 2 seeds and they'll be in the final.
I think what you have here is the World Juniors is a great family event. Christmas time or holidays, whatever religion you celebrate, you're sitting with your family and you're watching some good Canadian hockey. The bowl games, the NCAA final, is a great post-New Year's event. You're hungover, you're tired, you're in your sweatpants, you got your slippers on, you're still eating chocolate from under the tree or stockings or menorah.
Yeah.
And there's the difference. What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to the hockey way more, just because it's sort of, we've grown up with it.
It's a 2-week-long event.
Yeah. You can prepare yourself. You can watch the games with your buddies, having some beers. You can watch the game with your family. It's a lot more enjoyable for me.
Well, here's the thing. I think that if you're in Canada and somebody asks you this question, the juniors or the NCAA final, you say, who's playing in the NCAA final? If you're an American and somebody asks this question, then you go, what the hell are the World Juniors? So, yeah, we realize that there's a bit of a bridge here. I'm still pumped for the football, to be honest. Oregon is one of the most dynamic offensive teams that I've ever seen. They are unbelievable carrying the ball. Auburn, hey, if you go perfect in the SEC, then you deserve to be there, and that's going to be a great matchup. So there you go.
But the NCAA has the potential to just be a complete dud. Like, it's one game. Like, the World Juniors, it's a 2-week-long event, so you're going to get some great entertainment throughout the whole thing. So more looking forward to, I'd say the World Juniors, because you know what you're going to get. Moving on to the next question, we're going to flip over to some
World Cup
soccer. It's been recently announced that Qatar and Russia are the next two hosts.
Russia's
for the
first.
World
Russia's
Cup.
in 2018, and Qatar is 2022. Thoughts?
I
don't like them. I don't like them.
Why?
Come on, Russia? Like, really?
I love it. I think it follows the pattern that FIFA have been doing the last few years.
I predict that whenever a game ends, they will burn down the stadium.
Hold on.
To go to the next one.
Hold on. You've got South Africa, which was the last one. So they're trying to make it more of a global sport. We know that soccer is the most global sport in the world. There's no denying that. And all FIFA are trying to do is just branch out more and more. South Africa, Asia. They still keep up with Europe. They had US in '94. Qatar, Russia. The NHL is trying to branch out. The NFL is trying to branch out. They're all following FIFA, which is the best global sport in the world. I think this is the blueprint, and this is exactly how you do it.
But Qatar, seriously?
Why not?
Why don't they have 1.5 million people?
Who cares?
I don't like it. I can
Why
see.
not? Like, not liking it is one thing, but what's your reason for not liking it? I
don't know.
They have a lot of
when
money.
I heard that Qatar got it, I thought, what? Really? I did not get it. I'm sorry. I love how the Olympics is going to Rio. That's a great example of taking that more global. But the World Cup in Qatar,
I don't know what's-
and
I don't know-
Russia. How is going to Russia making it more global?
Because you're going to a country that's never been before. Russia, soccer is huge in Russia. Soccer is huge in the United Arab Emirates. These places have money. The stadiums are going to be magnificent. The coverage is going to be impeccable. I don't understand why this is a problem.
I don't like it. I just don't. Russia is a huge, well-known historic country. I think at least Qatar, you could say, like South Africa, that they need something, that we should bring this to them. But Russia does not.
Soccer isn't a charity. We don't. They don't go to the World Cup. They don't.
Well, they're
put their places
acting like it. They're
just to
acting like
help
it.
countries.
Well, they're acting like it.
No, I think it's great, and it's going to be one of the best World Cups ever. And I'm going to be 12 years from now. I'm going to be so excited, and I'm going to be sitting there with my soccer cup, my little sippy cup of juice, watching the soccer game, watching the non-contact sport, and I'm going to call you and tell you how amazing this is.
Biggest sport in the world.
You're watching the World Juniors.
I'm trying to move on and put this behind us, but you're not letting me. But hey, the biggest sport in the world. I found this out today. I did not know this, but did you know that the UEFA Champions League final is the most watched annual event?
It's surprising.
In the world.
I thought it was the Super Bowl. I think a lot of people would have, off the top of their head said Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl last year had 106.5 million viewers, and that was the most watched ever American television event, because the moon landing doesn't count apparently. But that was last year. The Saints. The Saints Colts. Sorry, the moon landing in '69.
Right. Yeah. July 20th.
July 20th. Did not know that either. But the Saints and Colts Super Bowl last year was the most watched television event in America in history, but the Champions League outdoes it every year.
That speaks wonders for the amount of viewership that North American soccer has gotten in the last 10 years.
Hey, before I found that out, I had no respect for the Qatar-Russia pick, so at least that gave me a little bit more love to kind of agree with you. I just don't.
Thank you.
Qatar, it's like seeing the Hurt Locker win Best Picture. It doesn't add up to me. You have to convince me why it's a good reason, but.
I'm pretty sure I did a good job, and you just kept saying that you just don't like it. So anyway,
that's
are we
my
done
reason.
With questions here?
Our next, I think we are. What's our next fact? Hockey Night in Canada. I did not know this either, but it's the oldest sports television program in the world.
Also, surprising fact.
Surprising to me.
Well done. Good research.
Do you know the last time that 2 original 6 teams were in the Stanley Cup final was?
No, I don't.
1979. That's how long ago it was. The Rangers and the Habs.
Okay, who are the next 2 original 6 teams going to be in the Stanley Cup?
That's what I'm trying to lead into.
I'm trying to ask you that now.
I think Boston has a legitimate shot. I could see Boston and Detroit getting in there. Chicago.
I think it's got to be.
Chicago and Philadelphia was practically an original 6. It was an expansion team, Philadelphia.
I think right now it's between those 4. Maybe not Philly as much, but I think between Chicago, Boston.
Well, they went original 6, but yeah.
Okay, between Boston, Chicago, and Detroit.
And yeah.
Because the Rangers, I don't see them.
I don't trust the Habs to put it together enough of the start. And Toronto, forget about it.
Well, the Habs, you never know. They obviously had a great run last year.
I just don't trust them to put money on them.
Right. Okay.
I
didn't know we were betting. I thought it was just a question.
I don't bet.
That's all the time we have this week, folks. You're listening to episode 12 of the Casual Sports Guys on the casualsportsguys.podomatic.com. Keep the emails coming. We're having a great time listening to hear what you have to say. You can email us at thecasualsportsguys@gmail.com. To reply to Nancy in Sudbury. I have blue eyes and I'm single.
I had a Nancy as well. To Nancy in Montauk, New York, we don't know enough about polo to have it in the show.
We're getting there, though.
So I do apologize. I thought that it was just a clothing brand. I didn't even know that it was out there as well.
Shows you how much we know. Thanks a lot for listening, guys. We will speak to you soon.